what I think makes this movie work is that everybody knows how these movies typically end. But it's the journey in getting there. It really is. It's whether or not this journey is believable. If this journey is this journey believable or is it not? And I feel like because it's so grounded in reality, and there's a real situation that happens that causes these two people's lives to come to a screeching halt, and you know they're faced with the decision of whether or not they can handle this.
Yeah.
And you know, my character is like, no way. You know, is he going to run or is he going to stay? Your character feels like she can handle it on her own, but realizes that she probably can't, right?
Right.
And it's like this thing of, you know, what we tried to do in this movie was, what would you do in this situation? Like, really, what would you do? It's hard to say that you would, it's easy to say that you would do it, but when you really think about it, that's a huge responsibility, especially when you don't have 9 months to prepare for it.
But I'm a little more like Holly, where it's just like, I could do it. I would make it work. I could do it. I could. If that happened to me, I would just step up and I would take charge and I could do it. And then you're just so overwhelmed and underprepared.
Like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, and then you're mad at yourself and them for putting you in this situation. But I love that about it. It has all of those emotions. It has all of those feelings and moments, and it's not glossy and perfect, and you know, they don't always say and do the right thing, but they're trying. They're good people. They have good hearts. They're trying to do the right thing, and I think they ultimately succeed. And what's fantastic about it is that these two people who really brought the worst out of each other for a long time end up being each other's saving grace. You know, really do bring the best out of each other, and it's not fun to love Sophie without the other person. You know, it's not as rewarding, because it's amazing to share that love for a child with somebody who feels just like you do about that child. It's a real, you know, it's a real gift. I was a big fan of The Parent Trap. And I remember one year they did one with real triplets that were identical. And they were like in their teens or something, and I was so blown away. I didn't think it existed. Triplets, identical.
Identical triplets.
These girls were identical triplets. It's like a crazy, natural occurrence that's freakish.
It is. I remember when I first met them, they were like these little ducks that just followed, because they just learned how to walk when I first met them. I went out to Atlanta a couple weeks early just to get to know them a little bit, because we wanted them to feel comfortable around us. She was in the process of adopting Nayli at the time. I had nothing better to do, so I was like, hey. And I love hanging out with kids anyway, because, I don't know, maybe we have the same emotional intelligence, I'm not sure. But I had a real affinity for these kids, and we hit it off great. And, you know, you spend a few months with kids like this, and you grow attached to them. And it was so interesting, because each one of them, as much as they looked alike, I literally couldn't tell the difference for the first week that I knew them.
Yeah, it took me a while.
But their personalities were so different. And we found this out early on, that, okay, we need a crying scene, we take this one. We need a baby to come on and be happy, we take this one. And then when those two were sleeping, we had to take the other one, and just hope that we got the right one. Or the right mood.